Hey, what's going on? I'm live. I'm live according to YouTube. How's it going? How's it going, fam? How's it going, family? I just got off of work. I just got out of the shower. I know I'm a disaster. I'm a wreck. Yo, Earth, what up? Yo, Earth. Yo, I'm talking to you, Earth. Like the whole Earth and shit. What's up? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the manosphere, and now I'm probably gonna have a brain fart because I'm live, right? But there's Richie Romance is caught up in some issues with Mike the MGTOW man and all this stuff, and you know, and Tico Trend and all these. There's a lot of what we usually, I guess we call it drama going on in the manosphere. You know, uh, man, I guess I might end up going on Red Pill on Steroids show. I mean, I can read you his comment. He said to go on his show because I was kind of getting Richie Romance's back a little bit, and I understand Richie Romance is, he's a little crazy. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Terminator? He's a little crazy, Richie Romance, but I sense from I usually have a fairly good what is called discernment, and I sense that Richie Romance is a real guy. And I understand that he's not perfect, and I do believe, and I'm not a psychologist, but I do believe I've kind of assessed Richie's situation, and he basically when I first came to MGTOW. Oh, shout out to American MGTOW, right? American MGTOW. Or no, American Viking. American Viking. I think that's his channel. Shout out to you, American Viking. You're welcome to come on my show anytime and promote your channel. Let me just look and make sure that's who it is. American Viking, right? There's a new kid on the block. Yes, American Viking. And by the end of my program, I want American Viking to have 100 subs. I want you to pump American. Yo, what up, American Viking? That's what I'm saying. I want American Viking to have 100 subs. You telling me I got like over 1,000 subs? I can't get 100 people to go over and and sub to American Viking, because American Viking, the hardest part is like your first 50 or 100 subs. You know what I mean? So like once you reach 100, it's just kind of, then the next, pretty soon you're at 120, then 200, then 3, it just goes up from there. So big shout out to American Viking. So when I first came to MGTOW, I, I started shouting out all these different channels that I kind of admired and looked up to that were much bigger than mine. Oh, and I'm honored to be on this, and I'm honored to be in this battle with you, American Viking. You know what I mean? So I'm honored as well. Trust me, I'm honored as well. It's good to see good-looking, strong, smart young men joining the MGTOW movement that make MGTOW look good. I'm a little bit on. Okay. Well, I'm going to get into this. I'm a little bit of a loose cannon, and I understand that I'm a loose cannon. People are generally afraid to associate with me because I'm loud, and I say things that are I say things that are just I'm an extremist. You understand what I'm saying? I'm a bit of an extremist. I admit that I'm an extremist. I don't like, it's not like I don't see it as a bad thing. I'm absolutely an extremist. And so I started shouting out all these different channels. And I watch a lot of these newcomers Yeah, MGTOW shield wall. That's exactly right. We're in this together. We are in this battle together, brother. So basically, and that's kind of what this is about. So I started shouting out in the name of being united. I started shouting out all these other channels. And what I noticed is okay, is I didn't get any response from a lot of them. And then I noticed that a lot of these channels, not all, seem to be kicking up a lot of drama, and there was a lot of infighting going on. And then I noticed that it seemed like these channels would grow faster than channels where of like just like I know how do you explain this? It seems like the drama channels would grow and attract more men than the channels that were based on like facts and just talking about the reality of the situation that we're in as men and experience. Like my channel is where I don't really have a script. I just pretty much state things exactly the way that I see them. I come on and I get and I have generally kind of in my head what I want to talk about, and then I just get on here and I talk. There's no fancy editing. There's no intro. I went to school for all that. I went to school for 3D animation, editing. I know how to edit music. I know how to play. I could sit here and play the fucking guitar for you right now. I don't know where my guitar is. I guess it's in the other room. But I mean, I could probably put together all these cool intros and edit everything and all that. But that's not what I'm about. I'm about basically content. Like what is the content creator saying? You know what I mean? I'm looking for, and I have a thirst for knowledge. I'm looking to learn. I don't care about fancy pants. I don't care about fancy pants stuff. I don't care how good of an editor you are. I don't care, how, I mean, it's kind of cool sometimes, but I'm probably going to get sick of your intro and I'm going to skip past your intro and just go right to you talking. I don't even have time. I don't have time to watch your fancy little intro. You understand what I'm saying? I just want to skip past all that and get right to the meat, to the marrow of the bone. You know what I mean? I want to dig right in there and find out what is it you got to say. So I eventually came to I didn't get any shout outs in return from a lot of these channels until Traversable, who doesn't really associate with me much anymore, allowed me to go on his show, and that really promoted my channel. And before I knew it, I had 1,000 subs, right? So, I had like 800 or 900 subs from hanging around Traversable's circle, and whether Traversable wants to associate with me or not, I will always owe him that. And I'm not shouting him out I'm shouting him out because I owe him that. So my point is he's kind of in the atheist camp and I'm kind of in the Christian camp anyway. You silly atheists. You think all this came from nothing, you silly atheists, and your silly philosophies. But anyway, your magical thinking, like, oh, all this came from nothing. Like, oh, us scientists, we named gravity. We saw stuff fall to the ground and we named it gravity. So therefore, there's no God. You silly atheists and your magical thinking. So anyway, all I have to do is be a philosopher and everything will be fine. As you're a slave, basically sitting in your own shit in your living room, stinking and shit. So anyway, and that's why this isn't a kids channel. So my point being is I eventually came to the conclusion that my channel was being shadow banned so that these other bigger content creators like Red Pill on steroids and Hammer Hand and all these guys weren't seeing my content, or B, they are shills and they were here to divide and conquer. and for ratings and for subs, and they don't want to be associated with a guy like me who, I'm just basically, and I just accepted it at that, and I left it at that. I'm not butthurt over it. Well, I was a little butthurt over it, but mainly, I'm pretty good at recognizing when my ego is getting the best of me and just telling my ego to shut the F up, basically. So then I watched Richie Romance come along. Okay, now Richie Romance he's loud, he's boisterous, he's an entertainer. He admits that he's got a drug problem. He does videos on drugs sometimes. I don't give a shit about any of that. What I care about is Richie Romance's main point. Now, what Richie Romance's main point is that he's calling out content creators that he believes are just here for views and subs. And I saw, well, first I saw him shouting out a lot of the same channels that I started shouting out when I came to MGTOW, right? And I was like, I can't wait to see how this goes. And he got a little bit of attention, but generally the same thing happened to him that happened to me. And I didn't want to say anything. I just watched him go through that whole cycle of making videos of shout outs. Like, you know what I mean? His were more even blatant than mine were, though. His were titled like shout out to, so and so, you know what I mean? Shout out to my boy so and so or whatever. And I watched him go through basically the same cycle that I went through, and then when he didn't get when they don't shout you out back, then you start thinking like, well, is it me? Is it this? Is it that? Am I being banned? Are these people not legitimate? Are they not legitimate MGTOW? Like, aren't we all in this together? Aren't they like, oh, here's a guy, another MGTOW with a small channel. I'm going to boost him up. You know what I mean? And just, I went through the same issue. And so now he's more actively trying to route out these channels like Mike the MGTOW man who Mr. Elite did say, and I'm not, man, I don't like kicking up drama, but I do think it's important if there's MGTOW that are on the run from the law that are taking your money. And I don't want to get into details, but Mr. Elite did do a video where he called out Mike the MGTOW for being on the run from the law. You know what I'm saying? And Mike, if you are, whatever, I don't know. I'm just saying it is kind of important. That's kind of important. So I went to Red Pill on Steroids video, which was a response to and also basically a bunch of stuff supposedly happened where some other MGTOW, Tico, literally got Richie in trouble with his kids and his baby's mama, and got him kicked out of his apartment. Just on and on and on. And so I have to. This is the way I see it. Despite Richie Romance's little imperfections, what he's saying is something that I thought about before Richie Romance even came along. And now that he's pointing out the same things, what I'm trying to say is what Richie Romance is saying is more important than his little character flaws. And also the way different men are going to deal with the fact that we have no rights in America differently, and they're going to deal with the red pill rage differently than I deal with it. You see, I have an unusually tight family. My family's very tight. If you fuck with one of us, you fuck with all of us, and we get each other's backs quite frequently. And I have a father who is rock solid. I have a rock solid father who you could say he's quite unemotional. Like he's like a rock. The guy is like a rock, and he's killed people before in the military. So his threshold of drama is like a little higher than, you know what I mean? Basically my father's a killer. Do you understand what I'm saying? My father was a killer. He doesn't even know, he was a machine gunner, so he doesn't even know how many people he's killed. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, I literally asked him one time, I was like, Dad, how many people have you killed? And he was just like, I don't know. He's like, I just kept firing until nobody was firing back. That's what he told me. And I was like, damn. You know, so you might have killed a lot of people. And he may have killed hundreds of people. And so, you know, my father's mentality is like, you know, to be the type of person to live with that, you know what I mean? I don't think he loses much sleep over it either. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's my genetics, or if it's or if it's growing up with a father like my father. You like, a lot of people would think my father was pretty hard on me. You know, the average American dad who wasn't in Vietnam and wasn't a machine gunner would probably see the way my father raised me. Yeah, I'm Italian, so I got into that you know. So I you know, I'm from an Italian family, so you know what I mean. Like, it's like, you know, drama's nothing new. Just, you know what I mean, in my family. But my point being is that, you know, some people would probably think, even my father probably thinks that he might have been hard on me. Like, my father was like he was no bullshit. My father he was a no bullshit individual. You understand? You know what I mean by no bullshit? He was like, mostly, like, he had a good sense of humor when he had a sense of humor, but generally serious. And like, if I was like, oh, Dad, you can't do, I don't know why, every time I do such and such happens. My father would be like, well, when you do such and such, make sure that such and such doesn't happen. You know what I mean? He made me figure out things on my own. He didn't like show me he was just kind of like, well, find out what you're doing that makes that happen and don't do it. You understand what I'm saying? He made me problem solve. He didn't baby me. He didn't make me think the way you know, he was more of an example. Like, he didn't push his life philosophies and everything on me. He just was the way he was, and I learned by observing him. And he was a very no bullshit person, high threshold for drama. You know what I mean? Like, you could like or like, as in Poker Face. You know what I mean? Like, the house could be on fire. You know what I mean? And my father would be like, "Oh, well, the house is on fire. All right, well, you gotta, well, do. You know what I mean? He would just fucking calm. You know what I mean? Calm, like a pond on a windless day. You know what I mean? Deep and calm, and just calm, like a. So what's up? So we got Black Wolf MGTOW. What up? It's good to see you. There you go. Your father, Black Wolf MGTOW's father, was also a veteran, so you know what I'm talking about. Like everybody's like, yeah. There's all this commotion, and then my dad's like a rock. My father would just be sitting there like, you know what I mean? While there's the shit could be jumping off all over the place. My father just solid as a rock, right? I've seen him get emotional and lose it though too. Nobody's perfect, okay? I've seen my father make himself look like a fucking idiot too. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him get emotional and lose control of himself very rarely. I think maybe twice I've seen my father get emotional like a woman. You understand what I'm saying? But and fucking, you know, and make a scene and make a spectacle of himself. And I was just kind of, and it was hard for me to watch. The couple times my father did do that, it was very hard for me to watch because it was like watching, because he was usually solid as a rock. Okay, so my dad was more or less the same way, kind of like a Vegeta from Dragon Ball, like Vegeta from, from Dragon Ball Z. And with me, I developed a more Goku personality. I think I feel kind of the same way. Italians are super family. Yes, we are. Earth. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm Italian. I'm like 50% Italian, and the German side of my family is cold. And you know, it's funny you would point that out. The German side of my family is very cold and unemotional, and they don't hardly talk to each other. You know what I mean? And when there's if it's a hug, it's like, oh, quick. It's like, oh, quick hug like that. Like, oh, it's like a half a second hug. Like, yeah, oh, like, yeah, okay, yeah, don't touch me. Like, okay, yeah, all right, don't touch me. Get away from me. That's the German side of my family, right? And then there's the Italian side of my family. That is the tight. That's the, like, you know, if you mess with one person in my family, you mess with you mess with the whole family, basically. So you know, basically, what I'm trying to say, all that being said, is I deal with all this much different than other men, as in I don't do drugs and I don't drink. And I don't cry very much about it, and I don't get all emotional and drama. And, you know, I might knock on someone's door, but if they don't answer, I go away and do my own thing, because because in the end, I don't give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about whatever. You know what I mean? I've had knives to my throat. I've had a black dude, not knives, but I've had a black dude like twice my size, built like a brick shit, with fucking veins and fucking muscles just fucking popping out all off, like just a giant muscle with veins, with razor blade to my throat, like, you know, like, you want some of this drama, white boy? And I'm just like, you're gonna have to kill me right now. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've literally been in that situation. It was down in New Orleans, you know, with a black dude twice my size, with nothing but muscles and veins popping all over him, with work gloves on. You understand? That's how serious he was. Like, he literally put work gloves on and then took a razor blade out and put it to my throat before I even knew. Like, before, he totally caught me off guard, because nothing like that had ever happened to me before. And he's just like, you want some of this? You want some of this drama? And I was like, yeah, you're going to have to kill me. Basically, I just like looked him right in the eye, like, yeah, you're going to have to kill me, I guess. And he didn't kill me. He was just like, you a man. He was like, you a man, like that. And he like put his razor blade back in his wallet and like walked away. That's the type of, that's the type of mentality that I have, basically. And like, and is the type of people that would punch you in the face and then hug you. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I don't like, that's basically kind of how I am. I don't like to hold grudges, and I can get, if I am emotional, I usually get over it really quickly. You know what I mean? But you know, I basically, all I'm trying to say is, guys like Richie, he deals with, I think he might be dealing with some stuff. I don't want to get into it now. I will if I go on red pill on steroids, because it's really none of my business. And if you're listening, Richie, I'm not talking smack about you. I'm just I do this with everybody. I'm just calling it how I see it. And I appreciate your shout out to me, Richie, on your video. He called me a real MGTOW the other day and said that I'm actually doing this on my own. And you're right. but some camaraderie would be nice. You understand what I'm saying? But I will do this by myself if I have to, and that'll just be the way it is, and that's just how it is. And it would be nice to have a big community where we all helped each other, and I see where Richie's going with that. And on the other hand, I also understand that you don't know who to trust, and you get burnt by association sometimes. And then I also understand that, trying to find who's a real MGTOW and who's a shill and who's this and who's that. You know what I mean? That's all pretty important, because as American Viking has stated, our enemy's going to come in here and they're going to make videos, and they might ask for money and then take that money and run purposely to burn people, so that people will be like, well, that's the last time I ever support a MGTOW again. You know what I mean? Last time I supported a MGTOW, I got burned and they turned out to be a fraud. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I wanted to come back real quick and say we should start a MGTOW fight club. There was a MGTOW fight club. Actually, we had Fight Club. It was on Traversable's channel for a while. We called it Fight Club, and almost anybody he would like put the link out there, and almost anybody was able to go on. MGTOW Fight Club would be a good channel. Like literally, if someone's listening, MGTOW Fight Club would be a good name for a channel, and then that channel be open to whoever's running it. Just have a regular scheduled time where anybody can show up, and the link's out there. You know what I mean? And anybody can jump on, and also you can regulate it and kick out whoever you want if you want to. But yeah, MGTOW Fight Club would be a really good channel for all the MGTOW to get together, like Fight Club, and say their piece. I really want to talk about one thing I really wanted to talk about was Steve Hoka. Steve Hoka and TFL at War had one of the best podcasts that I have seen in a long time. And it was called Why the Baby Boomer. Let me try to find it so I don't murder the title here. I watched it again today. I watched it twice. TFL at War, Steve Hoka, I watched your video not once, but 2 times. I watched your video. Here, let me find you, TFL at War. And this is one of my okay. The reason I jumped into MGTOW, all right, is I saw everybody talking about the women, and I saw some people talking about the courts, but I didn't see people talking about the social engineering end of this, and the fact that it seems to be on purpose that men are having such a hard time, and the history. And I also wanted to point out that it was the baby boomers that pretty much constructed this horrible system that we're living under. And I did a viral video. If you go back way back in my videos, it got like 15,000, or who knows, it might have like 20,000 views by now. It was called "The Baby Boomers Are to Blame." And I went into, and since I did that video, people more articulate than me have retouched on that, like Pastor Dabbs talks about. Okay, I don't know if Pastor Dab knows it, but I did a baby boomer video, and then Pastor Dab came out, and he said many things and more things that I didn't say, and he articulated them way better than I ever articulated them, because I'm not very articulate, and I am prone to anger. And once you get angry and you don't breathe and relax, you start not thinking as clearly, and you start sounding like a little bit of a madman. But I'm on the end of this where I'm tired of talking, and I want men to pick up their Second Amendment and not be violent, but make a show of force. Like, hey, we're done with this. We're all together now, and as you can see, there's thousands of us, and we all have guns, and we're ready to stomp your fucking heads into the ground if you would like it to go that way. because I think that's what the founders intended for our Second Amendment, was not to go hunting and not to keep them in our safes to look at and not to go target shooting. Our Second Amendment is there to make the corrupt government and corrupt police terrified of violating our rights. I want the police and government should be terrified. They should be terrified to charge you wrongly. They should be terrified to bring you in a courtroom unless there's ample evidence that you really hurt somebody or stole from something valuable from somebody, or damaged somebody's property or defrauded somebody. Unless they have ample proof that you're like a really bad guy, the police and courts shouldn't even be dealing with you. And the person who has a problem with you should be dealing with you. The courts and police should only step in like extremely dire situations to maybe stop a lot of bloodshed in like a family feud. But I think there should be some bloodshed from that every now and then. And I believe that men, if you know, to hell with fighting, to hell with fist fighting. I think if two men have a problem and it won't go away and it's driving everybody crazy, then those two men need to have a duel, just like the old days. Go out and if you both are that emotional about it, then go out in the street, and whoever doesn't come back in, fuck them. And nobody has to hear it, and then and that's the end of that, and we don't gotta effing hear about it anymore. I want to kind of revert. I don't want to go back to horses and carriages, but I want to go back to that old school mentality where we're like rattlesnakes, and if somebody steps on us, they get bit. You understand what I'm saying? And then they go, oh, I'm going to be really careful of rattlesnakes. I'm going to be really careful where I step so I don't step on any rattlesnakes. That's how I want the government to be. I want the police to be fucking terrified. Oh, the police are scared of not going home at night. And they should be. And you should be. If you're a pussy, don't be a cop. If you're a little pussy and you're afraid of getting shot at or have somebody pull a gun on you or, beat you up for God's sake and, bloody your nose or something, then don't be a police officer. If you joined up to be a police officer, then then don't, you wanted to be a hero. You wanted to be a hero, right? So, here's your chance, but, but only be a hero when there's a real bad guy. Don't try to make a bad guy. Don't make a bad guy. Don't hunt people down in your $35,000 SUVs because they didn't pay their excise tax. You're not here to enforce the law. You're not here to work for the DMV in the libtard family court, kidnapping family courts. You're not here to work. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so I'm of that. So that's why I thought people were turned off by me, as they're like, well, this guy's a loose cannon. He's talking about using the Second Amendment to stand up to the government. Can't have that. So I was like, so people probably just want to avoid me, and they're trying to see like long game if I'm just some So then I made a video, because I wasn't getting shout outs in return to my shout outs. I made a video saying, listen, I understand that I'm a loose cannon, and I understand that some of the things I say sound kind of outrageous, if you're not George Washington, I guess. And so I took full responsibility for whatever I say on this channel has nothing to do with anybody who promotes me, anybody who shouts me out, anybody who backs me. Any other channels that I watch. Everything I do is my decision, and I've thought about it, and it's on me. It's any action. If I go out and just, and I'm not, I don't think I'll ever do this, but if I go out, if everybody's worried that, you're going to read on the news that I got in a shootout with some police, like suicide by cop, or, you know what I mean? Or pulled some shit like, sniped a bunch of people from the watchtower, from the clock tower. It has nothing to do with MGTOW, has nothing to do with anybody whose channel I watch or who promotes me or shouts me out. It's because everything that I do is me. I did it. It's me. I take full responsibility for anything that I do or say. Nobody else takes responsibility for it. Period whatsoever. Nobody influences me. Nobody makes me do anything that I don't want to do. So that's why I made that's why I made that video. But then I since then kind of sensed that there are people here in MGTOW, like American Viking has said, that may be rich men that want to make MGTOW look bad or take your money. You know what I mean? Because to keep you poor and whatnot. I think good people are under the impression because you don't start fake channels and shill and you don't you don't make a channel and be a feminist, a male feminist, to make male feminists look bad. I think the average good person wants to be left alone. They don't want to get involved in the drama. You know what I'm saying? They just want to be left alone and live their life. And because you're that way, you think evil people are that way. I beg to differ. I think evil people are a little more motivated than good people and do go to great lengths that good people don't go to for their cause. And I think they're more committed, and I think the evil people are more united. So let me get back to what I was saying too about the show. Steve Hoka, where is it? Steve Hoka and TFL at War. And if you haven't seen this video, you need to go watch it. It's called "Why the Silent and the Baby Boom Generation Need to Leave Power to Gen X and Gen Y." You need to go watch that video. And it's along the lines of what you were saying, American Viking, about the rich, okay, and the elite. But I think they have geniusly put a finger. I think Steve Hoka and TFL at War in there, just ingeniously put their finger on the elite, which are the baby boomers. You want to call them the New World Order, the Freemasons, the elite, the controlling class. It's the baby boomers right in Washington. And they talk about how these baby boomers are multimillionaires. Okay, you might be a little younger than me, and you might be a little younger than Steve Hoka and TFL at War. I forget his real name. But we remember Nancy Pelosi and all these people, Trump and everybody. They were on our TV in the 80s, way back in the 80s, when I was getting up and putting on my little shirt. I'm going to school today. I would turn on the TV, and all the same faces that you see now were. This is goddamn 35 years ago, and the same people, Pelosi, Sanders, Sessions, Trump, all these people, the same people's faces that were on the TV 35, 40 years ago are still on your TV set, and they're getting ready, and they're in their 70s and they're close to their 80s, and they're probably going to be telling you what to do till they're 100 and they're on their deathbed. And they use some phrases that I use. They treat us like we're perpetual. The baby boomers and the silent gen, which I think are just are the gen before the baby boomers, they treat us like we're perpetual children, and we cannot manage our own affairs and represent ourselves. And they're the same people that have caused all these problems, but then they want us to vote for them to fix the problems. Do you understand what I'm saying? No, I'm about ready to vote with my Second Amendment. I'm getting ready. I want to vote with my Second Amendment. So not the ballot box, the cartridge box. But so you got to go watch that, because they really break it down as like, we got these baby boomers that will not go away. They're multimillionaires and they still won't retire. And he even said, I'm going to, paraphrase what Steve Hoka said. We need to find out a way. He said, he doesn't want the FBI kicking his door in or knocking on his door. So he's like, I don't know how. He's like me. I don't know how we'll do it, but we need to find a way to remove these people from the Capitol and the White House, escort them to their homes, sit them down in their rocking chairs and say, shut the F up and don't ever go back. And you're never allowed back in Washington again. You're never allowed in the halls of power again, period. Just shut up and go away. And I do believe the Gen Xers, I do believe we have what it takes. And it's not just America. They point out it's Putin, it's Netanyahu, it's every country in the world. These baby boomers got a steel grip on the political systems, and they won't let go of it. And they're the same people that have destroyed the environment. They've destroyed the chain of command in the corporate world. And they've destroyed the family. You understand? They've destroyed the water, the food, the air. And they want us to keep voting for them, and they're like vampires. They're like 5,000 fucking years old, and they won't go away. What do you got to do? You got to like stick a cross on you. You got to stab them through the heart with a stake or something to make these people go away. I don't understand. We need evil as well as good. Yep, I agree. And I'm subbed. Thank you, MGTOW Live, Captain Pizzazz. I'll get to your comments here. Yeah, I'm a little eccentric. You are right. I'm a little eccentric, and I'm trying to I don't like the philosophy of just rationalizing my existence and being like, and while I'm sitting in my own feces and just be like, oh, I'm happy because I just have fooled my mind into being happy. All my needs and wants, are a figment of my imagination. F philosophy. I mean, sometimes. I'm not saying philosophies can't be healthy and help give you another way of viewing the world. But when you're in a certain, it becomes, positive attitude becomes denial at a certain point when cindering beams are falling from the ceiling and you're like, I'm in a happy place. It's like, I don't think that way. I don't think like that. Victor Von Frankenstein, is that you, T-Wiz? What's up, Victor Von Frankenstein? Captain Pizzazz. Haha, yeah, but I'm talking like an underground boxing thing for real. I'm not. I gotta see that you're. Unfortunately, my family doesn't respect the way I do things. Or is that baby boomers in your family by any chance, Captain Pizzazz? Because if you try and here's another point that Pastor Dab made. I do steal from people. Sorry if you put your shit out there, and I like what you say. I'm gonna pick and choose. But if you kick and struggle against your persecution, the baby boomers will make fun of you and shame you. You don't dare kick against. You don't care. You don't dare struggle against your persecution. You just take it and shut up. I grew up around. I do my content on my own as well as I like watching your channel. Yours has a cool old school kind of vibe. With me, I often use humor to get my point across. I'm a bit sarcastic, and I shouldn't be. Black Wolf. Also, American Viking can't Join the fight club. We need to make it fair. No professionals will. I know. I know, right? I don't want to fight a naked dude that throws ice blocks axes for. Yeah, American Vikings is a pretty buff dude. How's your trigger finger, American Viking? You working out your trigger finger? Let me see. I think I'm subbed to you, MGTOW Live. If not, I'll go check you out and sub. I try to sub to as many MGTOWs as possible. Your parents are close to 80, and yes, they shame. So you are correct. They are boomers. Yeah. I mean, when it really hit me, that it's like about 5 years ago, I started calling out the boomers, including my parents. My parents were trying to shame me for certain things that I was saying and that I was going through. And I was like, I was like, don't you shame me. I was basically, as much as I love my father, I basically got to a point where I told him, I was like, Dad, I love you, but I'll punch your effing, I was like, Dad, I love you, don't, and I respect you and but I will punch your fucking face in. I basically finally told my father that, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago. And, and like you really want to fight, Dad? Because I will punch your fucking face in. I pretty much told my father that, and I didn't want to do that, but I was like, I felt like he wasn't taking me seriously enough. Like he was still viewing me like a kid. And so I basically, it finally hit me like a ton of bricks about 5 years ago. I was like, don't you shame me. I was like, it's you did this. I pointed at my mother and father. Your generation fucked this country up. Don't you fucking, don't you talk to me like it's like this is all my fault. I was like, I have no criminal record. I don't do drugs. I stay out of trouble. I try to help as many people as I can. There's no reason for me to be in the position that I'm in my life other than your generation fucked this fucking country up. And the public schools fucked me over. The public schools and the baby boomers fucked me over. That's why I'm in the position I'm in. And, basically is what I eventually told my parents. And, but I've built, I don't want to act like I don't love my parents, because I do love my parents. And like, if somebody hurt them, I'd probably snap, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, we have built, or I almost had to be like that with them to get their respect. So, or at least get them to fear me a little bit or whatever, so that they didn't treat me like like I'm just some fucking the village idiot over in the corner babbling, you know what I mean? That I'm absolutely serious about what I'm talking about. And it's just incredible. But I don't even know how we're going to get out of this, but I do believe the American Viking gives a lot of good, solid advice, and crystallizes it and articulates it very well. That we can't run anymore. There's nowhere to run. Our only way out of this is boycott the rich, because it is the rich that are in the baby boom. It's the goddamn rich baby boomers that are robbing us all through the courts. Through the wedding shops and the Victoria's Secret type shops and the stock market and all this stuff. That they have all these ways of robbing men of their wealth. And so what MGTOW is essentially doing is it keeps your money in your pocket. And so, what's up, MGTOW warrior? It's always good to see an old face around here. And I don't mean old as in, old, although I'm getting old too. No, it's always good to see a familiar face around here. And basically, yeah, no, I mean, MGTOW exists. It's like he said, we've found a way where when you used to be able to just be like, oh, okay, you all want to be a bunch of dicks, I'm fucking out of here. And you would just leave and, I don't know, go start another town somewhere or do whatever. You can't do that anymore. There's nowhere to run. Okay. So the only way out of this is literally to keep your money in your pocket. And the only way to ensure that your money stays in your pocket is to basically be MGTOW. And you can still, I mean, you know, and you're right, not every girl's gonna sperm jack you, not every girl's gonna say you raped her, but when they do, it's only gonna take that one time. And I want to talk about a friend of mine. The verdict is finally in. One of my friends, I told you, I'm not gonna say any names, his girl falsely accused him, ran off with his kid to down south, to another state, like 5-6 states down south. I don't want to be too specific. It's none of, I'm just saying. And I got a call, and I went over to my friend's house, and we all got together, a bunch of us, and we were having a few drinks and smoking and whatnot. And he told me what happened, and he got sentenced. He unlike other guys that maybe get out of it, you know what I mean? He did not get out of it. He got sentenced a few days ago. He may lose his guns over this. He literally just got his permit, his concealed carry permit, because in Massachusetts, it's all concealed carry. There's no open carry. You either have a primitive firearms license for like muzzle loaders and basically primitive firearms, you know what I'm saying? Or and rifles and shotguns and things like that. You're not allowed to have pistols. Or you have your concealed carry, which is all of the above and pistols. And when you go out in public, it is the law to concealed carry. So you don't open carry and then get a permit to concealed carry. You just, the permit around, it is the law to concealed carry around here, which can be good and it can be bad. Everything has its pros and cons. So my point is he went in the courtroom and they said, the judge said, so Mr. So-and-so, you admit to getting on top of your girlfriend and, grabbing her and getting on top of her and all this. And at first he said, no, and then the judge was like, looked at his lawyer and said, get him out of here. And so they dragged him out of the room, and they brought him in another room, and the lawyer yelled at him and said, this is your last chance. This is your last chance to admit, so he took a plea bargain. So now he's got a criminal record, and the same girl that already lied. I didn't say this to him because he's already under enough stress, and I don't want him to get mad at me. I guess I'm being a pussy, but I've already said enough to his face and pissed him off enough, predicting the future. But now he's got a criminal record. So now the same girl that already lied about him can say anything she wants and he'll be right down. I mean, if he already had to go along this far, if she says anything about him, he's gone now. And I'm in fear. I'm in fear for his life. It's like my friend. It's like I feel like I want to say we were out fighting a dragon, and my friend so and so ran right up to the dragon, and the dragon just went out and gobbled him up, and there went my friend. He's gone. My friend's gone forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, his life might be ruined. I don't know how this is all. They might not take his permit now, but when he goes to reapply, he might get denied. And I feel, and it's like another one bites the dust. Another man disarmed, and because of a false allegation. And I told him, what about the here's the thing, and I say this all the time: the police can beat the shit out of your girlfriend or your wife, okay? But you better not even defend yourself from her, or you're going to jail. The police should be terrified to have that attitude. Do you understand what I mean? The police should be shaking in their boots. If you can't lay a hand on your girlfriend, then they shouldn't be able to lay a hand on your girlfriend. And they should know that in their head. Well, if men can't discipline their girls, then I can't discipline their girls either, right? No, they don't think that way. And I told him, well, mention that a cop beat up your girlfriend over the summertime. And he did. He said that to his lawyer, and I'm going to tell you what the lawyer did. He said, what about the cop when my girlfriend that was being out of hand? What about the police officer that literally threw her in the back of a cruiser and hit her with his nightstick? What about him? And the lawyer, you know what the lawyer did? He just played both sides and said, well, some cops are dicks. Some cops are jerks, he says. Okay, even still, then why is that cop not facing prison like my friend Joe is? If he's a jerk he's a jerk, but he's able to hit women, and you understand what I'm saying? So it's all a double standard, and the lawyer just tried to play both sides like he was against the cop doing that. No. If the courts were against the cops beating the hell out of your girlfriend, then that cop would be facing prison time for assault and battery charges on a female, right? But that's just not how it goes. The police can beat up your girlfriend, but you can't even defend yourself from her. Do you understand? You are a slave. The police are your masters. They're above the law. They can beat up your girlfriend. You can't even defend yourself. MGTOW is the way. That is right. The gods always provide a way to Valhalla, and MGTOW is the way. No, seriously. It is literally, dude, do you understand that I'm a Christian and I could be a trad con and I could be up here being like, no, you need to man up and get married. And there's my kid right there. And I got a wife, happy life. Fucking, you know what I mean? Fucking, I can't even be a trad con, okay? I'm a Christian, and I don't believe in sex out of wedlock and all of this stuff. But when you're a slave and they're using marriage and children as a trap for you, then I can't be a trad con anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? If somebody can, if anybody can just say any one little thing about you and it's off to the dungeon with him, I don't ever want to see his face again. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then just because some female, what's up? We Smell Corruption. I want to see We Smell Corruption back to a million views. I want to see American Viking with 100 subs, and I want to see, just for starters, American Viking needs 1,000 subs. He needs 1,000 subs, 1,000 subs, 1,000 subs, and We Smell Corruption. Needs to have the police deleted his channel. We need to show the police that they can't just delete. That they can't just delete our friends because we just pop up again and our channel just goes boop, like holding down a beach ball underwater. The further you try to hold one of us down, as soon as you let go, the higher we pop up in the air again. You understand what I'm saying? I want them to know it's a losing battle, that they can't censor us. They can't delete our channels. They can't silence us. They can't pretend we don't exist. I love We Smell Corruption's channel. He gives a whole nother person. You got every man out there. You got a little piece of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. I'm trying to stay out of the drama. I'm trying to. You know what I mean? I'm trying to. I'm running a tight ship. I'm trying to. you know what I mean, make all the right decisions, keep my channel afloat here. But mainly, every man here, every man has a little piece of the puzzle, right? And when we get together, the puzzle just gets more and more filled in. You know what I mean? And We Smell Corruption brings a whole nother point of view to the table, man. Yeah, Traversable is who got my channels on the map. We Smell Corrupt. I forget your first name. You've said it before. I was gonna look for you on Facebook too. We Smell Corruption, but I'm just gonna call you Corruption for short. I was gonna look for you on Facebook too and friend you on Facebook. So that your content would, you know what I mean, the things you say and post on Facebook would show up on my stream, bro. But what I'm trying to say is, like, everybody's got Derek. Thank you. I'm gonna look for you on Facebook, Derek. Oh, did they shut your Facebook down? Yeah, no, they've shut mine down, but or they've put me in timeout. But I have 2 channels now, and you gotta friend both of them, because I'm logged into one on one computer and another on the other computer, because whenever I log out, it's like one will disappear, you know what I mean? And I won't be able to find it. And then it'll reappear later when I log out of the other one, and blah, on and on. So now I'm logged into one on one computer, and I'm logged into the other one on another computer. So if you see me on Stuart Hunkler on Facebook, Hunkler, as they said in Germany, Stuart Hunkler. I am Stuart Hunkler from the Hunkler clan. My family helped beat the shit out of the King of England once already. If you look up the Hunkler clan, we helped William the Conqueror walk into England and kick the shit out of the king. The first time England got beat, my family was involved in that. And we were involved in it's like the bloodiest war in history. I think it was William the Conqueror again. It was like, I forget what the name of the battle was. The Battle of such and such. Like, my family's we're a warring family. My family has been involved in warfare since if you look at the Hunkler family, we've been in every goddamn war since the beginning of time, practically. I guess we're soldiers. I guess we're a soldier family. A Midgardian. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, thanks for subbing, American Viking. I'm promoting your channel. I want American. I want. We got to promote these small channels, and we definitely got to promote these guys. Okay, Richie Romance, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but guys like me, guys like Traversable shouldn't be Sandman. Sandman shouldn't be, when people type in MGTOW, Sandman shouldn't pop up. Traversable MGTOW should pop up. That should be the first guy with 1 million subs, right? You know what I mean? Guys who are like Richie Romance, guys like me, Traversable MGTOW. The list goes on and on. We are living examples of what happens to good guys in the court that get chewed up by the courts and have our kids just ripped away from us and have to pay support or go to jail for kids that we barely see. While out of the other side, while schizophrenically out of the other side of everyone's mouth, we're told to take responsibility. Like, I know it's illegal for you to be around your child, but you need to take responsibility. It's like, how do I do that? How do I do that exactly? Fucking faggot. Anyway, so that's an hour episode, and I want we got to boost these channels. I'm gonna go check. I'm gonna end this stream right now. I'm gonna call it. Quits right now at pretty much an hour and 4 minutes in, and I'm gonna go check on Red Pill on Steroids and see if he's streaming or if he's replied. But if not, look for me on Red Pill on Steroids program, and we're gonna kind of hash out some of the drama that's going on in the MGTOW community, and hopefully we can sort of get to the bottom of things and figure out what's really going on with in the manosphere with like these. There's certain MGTOW circles that I don't know if they're legitimate or not, and it's important that we find out so that we can send the signal out to other MGTOW like, hey, these people are illegitimate, don't support their channel, they're not who they say they are. So that's that. And stay MGTOW for now. Peace.